Hey guys, it's Pwndnoob here. I just wanted to make a video about my set against KrazyCaley in the Winter Cup. Presumably anybody who's watching this video is going to know that KrazyCaley is very good at Spyparty. In fact, he's won the last 4 seasons of the Spyparty competitive league. So it was always going to be a tough game for me going in, but I had a lot of things that I was trying to do against KrazyCaley specifically that I wanted to go over, particularly on the spy side, though I will also go through the sniper games and the frustrations and the victories and whatnot that came with all of those. With this, I did a lot of prep, and I'll go through it, but briefly, KrazyCaley is a camping sniper. He's very much specifically looking at mission sites and trying to find people doing hardtails, catch them red-handed for the actual crime. He's less interested in things like seduce target. I can flirt with ease. When he sees when he hears a banana bread for the contact double agent mission, he really doesn't mind who's just walked into conversation and done the banana bread. He's more interested in who's not possible, who has an alibi and is outside the conversation. So there are things that I get to do with impunity, and then things that he's very much watching. This is going to be a set where transfer microfilm is going to be very hard, because it would entail me having to do 2 different hardtails, and I don't want to do any hardtails if I can avoid doing them. I'm going to get started here. I purposely picked Twin on library, in part because he has a small frame, and that will come up later in the set. Kaylee's memorized statue, he's watching for bug, and we're not going to take that bug ever against Kaylee, let alone most players. What we're going to be looking to do here is get our flirt done quickly. We're going to do it rudely. This stop talk that I do here is going to be very overused in this set, frankly. If anybody's watching this set and is wondering, is this how Pwndnoob plays, they're going to be mistaken just because I'm being a lot ruder than I usually would be. This has a fingerprint, and I figured let's go here early. I will try and get a real fingerprint and then a difficult fingerprint to make my fingerprints a bit better in this game. We're looking around the party a lot, and that's important. I need to know where the ambassador is, where my seduction target is, and if there's a good banana bread possible. In this case, we get to go to our seduction target and the double agents at statues. We want to stay far away from the ambassador unless we're actually bugging. I don't want him to ever get any hint that we're bugging when we're not. It's unfortunate I didn't hit a green here, but we get to flirt aggressively because it's KrazyCaley, so it's not a huge issue. He actually gets a low light on Alice and Wheels, so KrazyCaley is playing some game that isn't his typical game. He would usually save lowlights for people who are outside a conversation, but he's got some sort of hint. I missed the fingerprint here, which is really unfortunate. I feel like this fingerprint's very much important to my game plan, because now I have to do another fingerprint, which is going to give him another opportunity to catch me. Fortunately for me, I do have the briefcase here and the blue book when he returns it as options. We're going to quickly flirt. We're going to quickly do this
banana bread.
He gets a low light on Twin, gets a low light on Carlos. It's only 2 low lights. Frankly, it's a really good banana bread. It's just unfortunate it's 2 people who were high lit. And we are in a fair position to finish this, in that we just need to do hardtails, which is the hardest part of beating Kaylee. I hate that I had to do this fingerprint, but I don't think there's a better option. I don't want to leave fingerprint late and just be at the will of the ambassador. We could go to a 4th bookcase, for example, if we wanted to get that fingerprint, but we went to every single bookcase, and Kaylee did confirm after the game that he did know. And here we go. So this is what we call pillar strats. He can't see me on his side. I can show you what it looks like on the sniper side. It just doesn't exist. And this is what it looks like from the spy side. Get that bug. You can see at the top left that we got it, and he is none the wiser. Let's go split screen. So we're at mid statues here. All we need to do is get these inspects. He didn't see the bug, so we haven't been seen doing 5 missions, and he's watching for the swap. Presumably, he can turn around. He does that little angry laser, which is he is not happy taking this shot. I'll show it again. You can see he's visibly angry about it. That little shake there, and he takes a shot. This is really the game that I wanted to play, and I feel like if I had gotten the difficult fingerprint on the bookcase, this shot becomes a lot harder than it already was, and it was already a hard shot. Despite being down point here, 1-0, I'm not particularly worried about my position. If I can continue playing spy games like this, I will get a couple of wins in this set, and then I just need to continue sniping him. Moving on, though, we get the Caley spy game, and I specifically chose to do the 5 of 8 map first, and I will quickly show you why. So I remember 3 things here. I quickly memorized the statues. I'm not really actually watching for the ambassador, and I remember rockers at bookcase. If she runs away with a book, it's Caley, and this is very much a specific Caley thing. He goes, he's trying to put that in the yellow bookcase, but he sees me lingering over there. So he just goes into this conversation. I actually mark the book. I mark it blue. I really don't care. I just want to mark the book for my memory in case he decides to walk it around for a few minutes. I know it's green, and frankly, he's already high top suspect. That I didn't highlight him is specifically because I do not want to put my laser on him and show that he's my top suspect. He goes back to the green bookcase, which is surprising, but it's the sort of thing that he does when he knows that he is a high suspect. He probably felt me mark the book, unfortunately, but he does this. I was ready to shoot him if he didn't do the correct return for animation, but this is actually an even cheesier thing. He tries to walk away with the book, which is simply not possible for the AI to do. I think he then goes and stuffs it, or hides behind a pillar for a bit, and then goes and stuffs it in yellow is probably the game plan in mind. But because I marked the book, I did hold him hostage from doing anything for the first minute, and I shot him anyways. So this is the sort of sniper game that I was expecting to get in the first game, and I'm happy to have it. Moving forward from here, given that I punished him for the aggressive play, he might move into more passive play, and I have to be ready for that. Moving on, we get the Pub 3 of 5 game. So I had a specific pile of strategies for Pub 3 of 5 that I get to look at and use, and it all goes a bit haywire because of one specific thing that we'll get to. So I picked Little Man this game, not because Little Man is particularly good on Pub. It's probably one of his worst maps because there's just nothing to actually get cover behind, but because if I'm going to framing Little Man seems like the sort of thing that I would do. So I'm just gonna go, I'm done. Do you want to shoot me?
Banana bread.
This banana bread is absolute garbage. So I don't know why I did it. I think I was expecting the ambassador to come into the conversation near me, and I was gonna get the bug. But he just goes straight into this conversation. I might have just actually misclicked it and was trying to do a reverse drive-by. I don't know what came upon me, but I do know at this point that we have Taft, Alice, and myself are the 3 suspects. Unfortunately, because of the way Pub works, it's not like Caley's ever going to miss a low light. Even if he doesn't see someone in outside of the conversations, them exiting the bar would be enough, or exiting the pub I should say, because this is a fancy place. I do get bailed out though, so Taft does go to the bar, and I can frame a purloin, and this was actually one of the things I was looking to do. He's also my seduction target, so what I'm going to do is go in, red test flirt, and then I'm going to split immediately. Unfortunately, Ambassador comes and ruins half the party, and also I don't do a very clean split. Let's go down to like 1/4 speed here, so I can show how many. That's not 1/4, that's 4 times speed. That's the opposite of that, half speed. Okay. So at I trigger the red test at point 1 and leave conversation at point 0, but the talking animation from Little Man is actually quite dramatic. There were probably better characters to use, but Kaylee does catch this, and if I go back to regular speed, actually just go a bit faster than regular speed, I'm gonna die for this purloin. I think, and in conversation with Kaylee after this game in particular, if I just split instead of doing the red test, I would have probably put him in more stress. But because of the way that I pathed out of the conversation, going through the conversation, and because it's really easy for me to just split and go grab a drink, I think I was probably going to get shot anyways, which is why I was trying to do this particular tricksy play. So we're down 2-1, but I got to do what I wanted to do, despite the fact that I did that absolutely terrible banana bread for no good reason. And then we get to snipe, which is unfortunate because I do not like sniping pub 305. Because people start doing behavioral things that I like to lowlight for, but they're doing it specifically because they know that I can see them. So in this case, Kaylee's going to do what every single person does against me on 305 apparently, which is go to statues immediately. Oh, we are still too fast. There we go. So Kaylee's going to go to statues. I'm going to highlight Twin for presumed bug and then lowlight Damon. I'm going to take this highlight because it's a pub and I'm watching for the put down and the walk away, but not. He does this nice long wait actually. He's really trying. That path is questionable, not necessarily the path itself, but just the choice to go so close is weird, and not weird in an AI way that I like. I'm still looking for lowlights personally. I like that he doesn't reject this, and I like it so much that I reward him with a lowlight, and that's not a problem as long as he doesn't finish, but he's gonna finish because it's Kaylee and he wants to finish. He does this banana bread.
Banana bread.
And it feels like a white because Pearls and Twin left, but I'm not paying enough attention to it at the time. I just highlight everybody who is in conversation with a real DA. I really do actually have Alice and Queen both as suspects. If it ever happens that another banana bread happens, I will shoot one of them immediately. Like I think the second one has to be real in this sort of situation. It's a big gambit, but it's pub 305. Everything's a big gambit. The problem is I need to not shoot someone who, at this point, like Taft could be timer flirting with Twin. Cowboy's been in that same conversation. They're just timer flirting with each other. Twin goes back to the same conversation, and I've not been tracking talks enough. They're basically playing balcony, and I've been distracted by other things. Taft does this AI path into statues, and he picks up the statue at 120. I'm gonna shoot him prior to 110, hopefully. Yeah, I shoot him at 112 to make sure that 10-second timer. I was kind of hoping like another banana bread would go off or something to bail me out, or Twin would bug there, for example, but it just doesn't happen, so I shoot the guy I think dead. I should have held this shot until he goes back in conversation and flirts one more time, but it's likely that I'm just going to end up shooting him anyways because of the way the timing happened. I need to just start shooting people for going to statues early and not low-lighting people for what is clearly some good opposition research. It's not something I don't think I've ever actually low-lit for not taking a drink in a recent game, but it's the sort of thing that I would do, and Kaylee did a good job in making that decision. So now we move on to the Tan game, and this is the game that I am most frustrated with, mainly because it points out to me that Kaylee is human, and I don't like that. We're playing Pearls. We're going to play Pearls a couple times this set, mainly because of Twitch bugs. I was trying to find ways I can get away with bugs against Kaylee, because bugs are particularly important, and Pearls has a good assortment of bugs as long as they're not like actually behind the back, because her animation for behind the back is so slow. But she has good walking bugs and she has a good twitch bug. Just to explain to anybody who doesn't know what a twitch bug is, you can be moving a very small amount and still have it show as a walking bug, and it hides the bug because you don't have to lean. To get back to this game, General goes middle statues, and I'm considering framing him. I'm considering going up behind him and swapping the statue, framing it as like a green swap for him. But I feel like I don't even need to do that anymore because he then goes immediately to go pick up that fingerprint, which, given that I did that 3 times on the library game, feels like the sort of thing that I would definitely assume I would do if I was Kaylee. We're rejecting drinks. I think we might actually be close enough to bug here.
Banana
we
bread.
do the banana bread, and I try and bug, and it fails. But I don't die, so it's fine. More importantly, General is in the conversation with a suspected double agent. I got a bit lucky there. It could have been one of the few people who was outside of conversation. But he's now completed middle statues, a fingerprint, and contact double agent. And Kaylee's not a particularly good tracker of flirt in general. He is actually quite good at it on when he has to be. General's talking anyways. If Kaylee's tracking, General does look like he's flirting now, so it's just one more fingerprint. I'm also willing, if he rejects a drink, for example, to Purloin, he's going to come over here. If he sits down, he could get offered a drink, and I could have a chance. I have the option here to time it, and it would also look like General, because I don't think Kaylee necessarily would know who did the actual watch check animation, particularly if I green. I don't. I was gonna do so if General ever looked at his watch, but I pansy out. I feel like I'm in a good position as long as General gets another fingerprint. He goes back into the exact same spot he was in conversation prior, which doesn't make him any less suspicious. And he's right next to the ambassador here. If ambassador decides to take a drink, we have a good chance. Ambassador's going the wrong direction. I do have the option of going over there and like requesting a drink next to the ambassador, but the ambassador moves around, so I don't do that. At this point, we only have 30 seconds left. General gets offered a drink. He just needs to reject it so I can Purloin, but he doesn't do it, and I'm annoyed at this point. He picks up the fingerprint, though. He picks up the briefcase, and this should be the second fingerprint. He should be dead. And he's not. He also does this really long dancing path, which looks like he just finished the fingerprint and is dancing. Kaylee knows as much as I do that General is top suspect. He's got the overtime shot lined up. But what happened here, and the reason why Kaylee didn't shoot, is he simply missed the first fingerprint. So when General goes from this statue and follows Ambassador to the bookcase, Kaylee just doesn't acknowledge that this is a really good fingerprint. This is the sort of fingerprint that I love to do because it's just so aggressive, and if you get caught doing it, you should die. But you have to have like good timing, and it's just annoying that General doesn't die here when he's literally completed all 4 missions. It's the sort of thing I really trust Kaylee as a good player to catch, but he's human. He doesn't, and he doesn't shoot anyways. He doesn't shoot for like an assumed bug or anything else. So good play in that regard. This is one of the problems with framing. The other problem with framing, and thankfully it doesn't happen in this set, is when you try and frame a suspected double agent. It's one of the benefits of framing a seduction target, is at least you know that they could possibly be the spy from the sniper's perspective. And here's the other game that really annoys me. Check or fix your game. So Kaylee's playing Irish, but we're just going to free cam, because we're going to watch Little Man. So Little Man goes straight to middle statues. We get a nice 2-3-2. Venus, Falcon, Venus. I highlight him. I go and highlight Pearls too for her middle statue, which is already annoying that 2 people don't middle statues. Little man does this little twitch, which is typical. And then he does this one. And I catch it. And I shoot him for it. And I lose. So this is the thing that, I mean, I'm catching it through the shoji too. Like, on the casters didn't catch this. Maybe in stream chat actually caught this. And I think in part because it's actually a really weird thing to catch through the shoji. But it really jumped out to me through the shoji, and it's Little Man. It's a sort of thing where if he does, for example, like in spec swap, has to do 4 different things while at the statue, and he bugs and does banana bread, I'm not even going to be able to shoot him if he dances. Like, this is a shot that I should hold in theory, but is one that I'm very much at the point just going, thank you for the free win, I'll take that shot, thank you very much. And instead, it's just a free loss. It's me down, at this point, 1-5 on my own map picks. Despite the fact that I feel like I played a very good library, I feel like I played a very good TN, Spy, and that I don't think this is necessarily a mistake. I'm just catching things that are most likely the Spy, but sometimes the AI. I'm not particularly proud of the pub sniping game, but so be it. So we're down. We get Terrace, and I'm on the ropes, and this is a map where I need to win. I cannot expect to win both Ballroom and Veranda Spy if I'm going to make this comeback. And we're playing as Irish. So I don't mind here just not flirting at all. I don't mind trying to frame. I've got options. The biggest thing that was different between pre-game and in-game was he caught me for the red test flirt earlier, and so I'm a bit more concerned that he's going to catch another if I do a purloin frame like that. So I'm a bit more excited to do bugs. Unfortunately, I'm just not close enough to even consider this bug. I thought it was in the golden ratio where you're close enough to bug but not send the ambassador away, but I just missed it by a small bit. I didn't see General hiding behind Damon, so I accidentally give him 3 lowlights, which is more than I wanted to do, given there's only 2 people this is real for. And I go for this wrong arm bug. Let's go watch it from the sniper side. So yeah, Ambassador comes not close enough for me to do an in-conversation bug, so I do this wrong arm bug. Caley doesn't shoot me for it, which is telling, because it means he didn't catch it fully. I do the bounce back from the briefcase, which I think is really cute. It's the sort of thing where I would thoroughly enjoy it and be less suspicious of me, but I don't think it's something that Caley will reward. Going back to the Spy side, we want to go chase Queen, because I don't want to ever lose this game to just getting too many white flirts. If I've gone away with the bug, I've gone away with the bug. If I haven't got away with the bug, I'm going to get shot for flirting, because Purloin and Fingerprint are way too obvious. We go into conversation. We're going to just take this flirt and die. I think even before I talked, like, Caley just knows at this point. It doesn't help that I got highlight for the banana bread, but you got to make some plays, and this was a map where making a play was always going to be a bit hard. So we're down 6-1, and it feels like it shouldn't necessarily be 6-1. I think it's been stated by the casters also when they casted this game live. But Caley's played really well. He's gotten through a lot of tough situations that I put him in, and to say that he doesn't deserve to be 6-1 is incorrect, though. I feel like I've been unjustly... I feel like I should have more than 1 win, but I feel like he deserves to have 6 wins, if that makes any sense. I don't think it does. Moving on to the next game, Caley chooses Orange Dress, and it's going to be a fairly quick game, because Caley does exactly what you'd expect Kaylee to do on this map, which is go to the bug spot. So this is a spot where Ambassador is likely to pass on a regular basis, and I actually give Little Man a low light here for not going for the reverse drive-by. I feel like Kaylee would have smashed that button every single time. Highlight Twin for what is this aggressive flirt. Get the angle. See that actually terrible bug. I'm not sure if that's an orange dress thing or just a lack of cover. And we take the shot. And I get a breather because I finally have shot Kaylee after a few tough sniper losses. And then we move on to this ballroom game, and this is the game that I think needs the most explanation because this game is silly. So we've gone back to Pearls because good bugs, and because I don't think her slow walking is a particular issue when I'm being quite rude about my flirts. So let's get started. Oh, one side note while this game starting. I did choose Ambassador on TN purposely, and I do suggest doing it against Kaylee in general if he ever lets TN go through. Because you completely lose track and can't see the Ambassador when there's so much cover, because TN is silly. We're trying to line up a reverse drive-by here, while also getting the banana bread. So I do the banana bread, and then Ambassador goes the wrong way. So, let me just show you what... Yeah, you can see I'm frustrated. So, if Ambassador comes behind me while I do this banana bread, I have exactly the perfect timing to be able to just banana bread. Instead, I've just given him a bunch of lowlights, unfortunately. He doesn't lowlight Alice, who's... Yeah, there you go.
Banana bread.
And then I do the same thing here, but it's a bit more exploratory, so...
banana bread.
I'm hoping this time he goes behind me. He just doesn't. But he's going to leave this conversation. So he's stuck with Alice, and I'm hoping that he comes back towards like the statues. In this case, he has a lot of different places to go, like the first banana bread. But I don't think this gives him too many extra lowlights, if any. I do know that Queen is in both conversations, so I want to at least keep one person suspicious if I'm just going to go for every single banana bread into bug possible. I'm not sure who else other than Queen is still eligible, but I know that I've trimmed down my possible suspects quite a bit. And we still haven't gotten a flirt, because if you haven't noticed, Alice has been incredibly active. Like, if I hadn't done these banana breads, Alice would... be a very high suspect. I get the green test, and instead of actually getting flirt, let me show you what my replay cam looks like, because I go nuts. I get nothing. So this game's going terribly. I've done 2 banana breads for no reward other than a bunch of lowlights, and my seduction target is an absolute jerk. So we're gonna look at Alice. She's still moving. I'm gonna go and try and line up another reverse drive-by, but I can't banana bread this one because nobody's in the conversation, and Ambassador doesn't come anywhere near me anyways. So we're gonna head over towards our seduction target and get our flirt on, because we're still trying to finish despite the fact that this game's going absolutely terribly. There's nobody to frame. We've done too many banana breads, and I don't know who else is alive. And frame was never really the plan on ballroom anyways. So we're chasing. Alice moves for us, so we don't have to go to the exact same spot. I do this banana bread knowing Ambassador's coming this direction. Get the bug, and we are on. I'm going to go show that again from the sniper side. So... we go into this conversation, banana bread immediately, and he gets 2 lowlights, and he also gets the lowlight on orange dress as we're bugging. So he's actually zoomed in.
Banana bread.
Slow down. Yeah. No. Yeah, he's zoomed in. This is what it looks like, but he's lowlighting orange dress from there. So we get our flirt on, which is the other reason we're in this conversation, and then we go to mid statues. Because against Kaylee, we got the bug away for, in this case, I'm going to have to assume free. And another benefit of choosing the slow character on one of these maps is I want to have a slow character so I can guarantee getting inspects. Unfortunately, I red test the first inspect, which means I'm not confident in being able to get 2 greens and be able to actually finish the inspect. So instead I go over to the conversation and flirt, and then we'll head back to the statues to finish the statues. This really wasn't what I was planning on doing in any sense. I would rather have just done the inspects and then went and flirted, and then panicked in case I didn't green the flirt. But this actually does have a side benefit of Kaylee is now watching the swap. It's really the only things he has left to watch are to make sure the list hasn't been stolen by Queen and the swap. And he doesn't see the swap, and he never saw the bug, so we beat him on Ballroom. On Ballroom Spy, which Kaylee played Ballroom, I think, almost every set he could in Season 4 of SCL, and he never lost as Sniper. I think he's only lost 1 game of Ballroom out of, like, 20 in the Spyparty competitive league. And I got a win. Unfortunately, it's a bit bittersweet because we're still down 6-3, and I still need to win on the Sniper and, more dauntingly, the Spy side of Veranda. But don't call it a comeback. I don't know how many people were watching this video and also watched the cast, or people were watching this as their first time watching this set, so I'm not going to try and spoil too much. But this game is interesting in that I'm bad. So we're watching for early bugs, getting our low light for insta-sip and the highlight for being little man at statues again. No purloin. So we're clear. And Kaylee's done a really good job here. I'm going to pause it actually. Of hiding behind Cowboy here. I'm not sure how purposeful this is, but Cowboy's stupid big hat is making it really hard for me to see him. So I can see him at the exact moment I paused, but he's also kind of behind the pole, and it's just hard to acknowledge his existence. And it's gonna bite me in a moment when he does this this purloin. He does actually white test it, which is shameful, but it's Ballroom, so the angle's really tough, and I'm busy getting lowlights. I'm getting so many just random behavioral lowlights, just people clearly not flirting. I've decided that Kaylee's going to try and finish this game, and me seeing the list gone isn't helping my cause. Kaylee does a really long wait at windows here, to a point that I actually give him a highlight. I think this is at windows for too long. And then he goes into a conversation and does nothing. So I was expecting him to go into a conversation and flirt. And he did really long windows into just not doing anything in particular. And so I don't regret my decision. He also just takes a drink. Like, he's actually very aggressively going out of his way to idle, and he got rewarded for it. I like that path by Mom around Damon. It's the sort of path that Kaylee just doesn't do very cleanly very often. We're running out of suspects, so Cowboy goes to side statues here, and he only has 1 inspect, to the best of my knowledge. We're just trying to shoot someone who's completing. I relight Twin, not knowing why I low-lit him, and given that Purloin's gone, and I'm going to just pause it right here while I talk for a bit, and that it wasn't a Banana Bread low-light, because Banana Bread hasn't been said. I relight him up. There's no way this is a hard low-light, and a lot of my low-lights in this game have been absolutely incredibly behavioral. Like, just one thing and you're done. There's no... Usually when I do low lights, I try and have like 2 or 3 reasons before I low light them. This game, I'm just trying to clean up the party, doubly so after the purloin, and just leave myself with only a few suspects, and be able to shoot someone for going to middle statues late, or something similar to that. Shoot for inspect swap would be very Kaylee. That being said, he was low lit, presumably for a good reason, and I light him up. I need to have this sort of logic because if Kaylee was to go to middle statues and do it, I need to also be highlighting him. What happens here, though, is I'm watching the put down on the statue, and he finishes the animation, and in my mind, he put it down quite quickly, which is a very spy thing to do. I think at this point, I just really wanted to shoot someone. I was not in a good mental state after mainly the TN games getting really frustrating for me. But basically, the idea is... apparently I did do so. So he's still checking the statue. Animation ends there, and he puts it down. Like, there's no wait. No, it's a very minor thing, but it's a sort of thing that I look for when I'm just trying to find a reason to shoot. Like, I thought he might have even cut the animation with the way that I saw it. So I'm just phantoming things. Meanwhile, Kaylee's just going to do another banana bread, and it's going to throw me off entirely if I don't shoot this game, and then probably mid-statue, and I would probably shoot him for the mid-statue, so despite the fact that he's low light, because I am desperate. If he just decides to do absolutely nothing and just hope that I shoot, I mean, it was the right decision. I'm very jumpy, and he got that read quite well. So that's the end of the set. I lose 7-3. That being said, just going through the list of games, I'm really happy with the library spy. I'm really happy with the library sniper. He did exactly what I thought he would do. I got to do what I wanted to do on the pub game, despite the fact that I did that banana bread, which I'm gonna just say it was a misclick as far as I'm concerned. And the pub sniper game, I was actually one of the games I was very worried about. I don't like it when someone plays differently than they play, and someone always plays differently on pub. The TN game, I spy, I feel like that frame was completely justified, and I'm frustrated that Kaylee missed the fingerprint, but good on him for not shooting for bug or any of the other 100 reasons that you can shoot on TN. On the sniper game, I got beat by what is an AI doing what bug is not the right word, a glitch, and I'm gonna be unhappy about that forever. But I know better. I know it's a glitch. I'm very much aware of the glitch, and I explain it to people regularly, so I should have a bit more patience, but I was high-strung at this point. The terrace game, I took a relatively high percentage bug. It's not a particularly good bug, and not a particularly good bug against KrazyCaley, but I didn't want to purloin, and terrace is hard. On the sniper game, I shot him for reverse drive-by, which is a Kaylee thing. Happy about that one. And then the ballroom game, I'm happy with, though I wish that Ambassador had just gone the right way the first time, so it would look a lot better instead of that sloppy mess. And then the sniper game, at this point, I had given up, unfortunately. Like, I need to have a bit more mental state, but honestly, I haven't been the underdog in very many games in my Spyparty competitive career, and it was a weird mental state for me to try and convince myself I could still win this game, being down 6-3. I didn't have that thought at 6-1. At 6-1, I was like, let's do this. At 6-3, after I won the ballroom spy game, I was like, I don't deserve to win this. Like, I was tilted. It was bad. Hopefully this video goes through well. I got this mic, and hopefully it's all working. Feel free to do YouTube things. I'm probably going to make more videos as we go through the will be Spyparty competitive league starting in February. It's starting here real shortly, and I'm going to be playing in Platinum against other very good opponents. Probably not to the number one status of KrazyCaley. To KrazyCaley, if you end up watching this, GG's. Very well played. I'm happy that I put you in a few tough situations. I think it was stated after the game there was like 3 games, and frankly the pub game I should have made it 4 games as spy, where I made the situation hard, and I'm proud of that. but you won all of them except for one, and that's just credit to you. And otherwise, yeah, hit me up in the lobby if you guys want to play. I'm always down. With that, GG's, well played.